right, let's start with Rob Saul, because Rob has been the focus of a lot of talk this week. We're not going to spend too much time on this topic, because I know it was a few days ago. People have covered it, including myself. I talked about it on WATP yesterday. So you guys can, I say watch it and critique. Was I better? My first reaction with WATP, did I reuse any of the same jokes? Take notes, folks, because we'll be getting into it. But let's start with Rob Saul, because there's been a lot of talk about this. People are speculating whether or not he's on pills. Quite frankly, I don't give a shit. And if Rob is addicted to pills and he's struggling with it, get help. I hope you find the help you need. Rob vehemently denied these claims, which drug addicts never do. But I also acknowledge that's a tough spot to be in. If you're like, oh, a drug addict would say he's not doing pills. It's like, well, then what's he supposed to say? I don't really give a shit. I think the people that are in Rob's chat demanding he answers them, like, if you're fucking around, have a blast. The people that are serious, they're like, he's lying about his addiction. Like, they're losers and should be paid no mind. But Rob loves paying attention to them. So we're going to spend a few minutes debating, is Rob Saul on pills any worse than Rob Saul off pills? We'll decide today. So this is him at the beginning of the show when he's introducing Stuttering John, right?
Yes, correct. Sober Rob, and thank you, Base Pill, for this clip.
Yes, yeah, thank you, sir. Oh, because this stream was deleted, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
as I think should have been.
this would have been the good one. I would have said this is a great, from the little, like, I only saw this 11-minute clip that, what was his name? Base Pill, you said?
Based Pill, yeah.
Based Pill. That this gentleman posted. I only got to see that chunk of it. I didn't know John was on live with Rob. Based on this, there's so much more energy happening. I say, do all the oxys you want, baby. Let's let it fly, because John was so boring. But let's see what Rob had to say to start his program.
Grift from, which is like pretty much nothing. Excuse me. So we are going to be live tonight. We are live tonight. Yes, thank you. Nice blouse. That's right. It brings out my beautiful blue eyes. How dare you? And yes, that's right, Meow Mix, the real tapes. And I'd like to welcome with us tonight via audio tonight is the original Duke. And by the way, they have not, they're still not accepting me as the Duke. They said that you have to come on. And
Rob, you should really work for that title. It's a very serious thing. You don't sound fucking ridiculous begging that he actually knight you as the Duke.
He just wants them super chat. That's all that's going on here.
Rob, people are laughing at John. Do you want that title? Like, think about what you're doing. And Rob thinks that if John is like, yes, you are, in fact, the Duke, then people will pay Rob? Like, does he think it's a salaried position, being the Duke?
Yes. Well, the Duke comes with lands and title. Yes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you might think the royal family doesn't mean much now. They're just mascots. But there is a lot that comes with that. Heavy lies the crown.
Knight me formally, so maybe you can do that tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Stuttering John Melendez. John, how are you?
Yeah, so he sounds lucid there, right? He sounds good.
Yeah, that's the normal Rob. Normal, annoying Rob. But yes, this clip is crazy.
So this is, and there's a lot more. It was just a lot of silence, so I didn't feel like playing all of it. But we talked about it on WATP yesterday, where it's like a 6-minute span of John yelling, Rob.
Was he
Rob,
just
are you
nodding
there?
out? Was he nodding out, falling asleep, or what?
Yes. This is the same episode. This is what, an hour later, maybe 2?
I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes later.
I've never seen
game time.
I've gotten embarrassingly drunk on air before. I've never seen a shift like this. It does seem drastic. Again, when people are like, it's gotta be heroin. It's like, relax. You know, sometimes people get shit-faced. Although Rob's saying, I only had 3 beers in this time, is a little weird, because I've never seen this drastic a switch.
But they're 7% alcohol or something higher.
11.
Like,
they're 11.
11.
Don't sell them short. Well, that's a lot. 3 11% beers could do this to a man. And Percocets.
Yes, Mike, we have a nurse with us on set. Maybe we can get her professional opinion on what's going on here. No one's given like a professional opinion. Electra, pay attention.
I'll pay attention.
The clip has started. Just Mike, there's silence.
Rob. Wake up, Rob.
I would play the Deb tape, but the Deb tape is too much for me right now. Deb is a disgusting pig. Deb is a disgusting human being that looks like it's Pat from Saturday. I'm Pat from Saturday Night.
That's another good impression. This guy, he really is the Rich Little of his time. Such good impressions.
I love this impression. I don't know what it is, but I fucking love it.
And for those that don't know, there's a lady, Deb.
She's cool.
She was on Rob's show for a little while, and then she said that Rob fucks dogs. So Rob goes on this attack against her. He's really handled the dog fucking allegations just as well as he has the drug allegations. But I gotta say, it doesn't sound that much different to me. This kind of sounds like how Rob always is. Just a little slow, a couple steps slower.
Yeah, if you could see him, his eyes are blinking real slow. And
that's what happens after 3
he's
beers.
slurring more. He's got the slurs.
He's also very...
The man's had 3 beers. What don't you people understand?
11%. Also, he's very wet. It's Chewbacca-like. I've heard comments saying it's very Chewbacca-like.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what Deb is. That's Deb, folks.
Nice. Okay.
Zoning out.
Who's Deb exactly?
Yeah. Honestly, this isn't that much different than Rob. Like he's a few steps slower, I'll grant you. But like this is his level of humor where he's like, "Oh, I'm Deb. Ah, fuck me, I'm Deb." It's like, oh, that's very witty, Rob. How did you think of that?
We didn't really cut the clips, but there was just like full minutes going by where his eyes are just closed while the clips are playing Electra. He's just out. He's like, and then he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, hey John, what's going on?"
Well, it's the best because John is just. I don't know how. I think John would have sat there for eternity. Like if the clip never ended, if you could just put the clip on a loop and Rob slept there, I think John would have sat there for the rest of time yelling, "Rob, Rob, Rob, can you hear me? You okay, Rob? You awake?"
This whole Rob Saul, it is the diagnosis more than anything of how Stuttering John is just only insulated. Doesn't care about anyone else. He'll sit there with a dying person as long as he can tell his story.
What was great about this too is Rob was John was using Rob to be like, "Hey, I'm not back.
Yes.
I'm not. Hey, no. I'm on Rob Saul's show. Therefore, I'm not broadcasting on the internet."
Yeah.
Because
camera's not on.
Yes. So I'm not in the Dabbleverse. I'm just talking about Dabbleverse people on a Dabbleverse show. But I'm not back because this isn't on my channel. But let's finish up with Rob here before we get there.
Still playing.
Deb tape, Rob. I need to know what happened. Deb is a fucking disgusting pig. I got to tell you.
Forgot he said it in 40 seconds.
Deb. I'm Deb.
Nice. Nailed her.
Yeah.
Does Deb, you seem to know who that is, Electra. I'm not too familiar.
I do.
With
Mm-hmm.
Does she is that her catchphrase?
No,
Is that her
not really at all.
cut it
Not
out?
at all. No.
Okay.
It's his own take on it.
Oh, why is that so funny to me? I could put that on a loop.
Rob's like Michael Winslow. He's a master of noises, like that noise he makes at the end of our show. When Craig is on, anyways. Yeah, like he makes these great noises that it adds such comedic value to what he's saying. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for.
We have a library now.
Why are you dressed as a gay funeral director? Skull. That's hilarious.
What's happening?
So he's getting texts and, "Hey, you're too drunk. Get off the air." Those are.
It sounds like someone's got a scope on him. Like someone, they're zeroing in on Rob.
It does have a golden eye sound to it.
Oh my God! How we do it? Fuck you all.
Probably
You
Deb.
won't see me in Atlantic City. I'm not meeting with anybody in Atlantic City, and I told them all, I will not meet with anybody in Atlantic City, and I don't want anything to do with anybody in Atlantic City, and that's all I have to say about that.
So the next morning, and that sounds like a guy that had 3 beers. We've all been there. But again, like I said, we have all been there in the sense that we've gotten more fucked up than we wanted to and made a fool of ourselves. Like, I can empathize with that. The weird part is Rob went on the next morning to do a I wasn't high show. And boy, it really changed everyone's opinion. When Rob said over and over again, I wasn't high, it really made people believe him and stop saying that. He really quelled all the rumors. Like, once Rob said, hey, I had 3 beers and they were just heavy, everyone was like, oh, well, there you go. He managed to thwart all the trolls with his rational explanation. So that was heartwarming to watch. But I just wanted to pull this clip because this is Rob sober. This is him the next morning. He's sobered up. Oddly, not hungover from these massively heavy beers he consumed. But, you know, he seems bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. This is him talking about Deb again. And my question was, like, everyone's like, Rob was high. Sober people don't act like that. Listen to this clip. Is this that different from what we just heard, really?
And Deb, nobody even knows who you are. You're trying to get yourself known, and look what you're doing to get yourself known. You're talking about Rob Saul. Do you see the irony, Deb?
He's more delusional sober. He's like, you're using the Rob Saul name to get recognized. Yes, America, you know, I'm going to a Super Bowl party later, and I just hope it'll be so obnoxious if we have to spend the whole time talking about this Deb craze in America. It's like, can't we just get past? So let's talk about something less divisive, like Trump. You know, enough with the Deb talk. It polarizes families.
Yes, go watch Deb on Nice Podcast Stupid Thursday nights.
Sure. Yeah.
Talking about Rob Saul. Do you see the irony, Deb? Look at you. I mean, you're disgusting.
Okay. So I was listening to the great OJ in the morning this morning, and Tukey came on with a bit of breaking news that Rob Saul did, in fact, hang out with everyone there, and he's best friends with Deb now. That's no bullshit.
Nice. Really?
Yes. So that was
Deb
all
was
just
there.
bullshit.
It all is.
Yes.
That's what all these people get so fucking angry, and then they see each other, and they're like, "Hey, they're so desperate for friendship. They don't care what you've said about them in the past."
No. Yes.
Is that true? Rob is friends. He was in Atlantic City, and they're all friends now.
Tukey, it was not like a Tukey joke. It was like, yeah, no, they're friends now.
What's the Atlantic City guest list look like now? Chad didn't make it, right?
Chad did make it.
We did.
It was all like, yeah. So my guess is Kevin told them all to say they weren't coming so that like the trolls would give up, and then they all showed up anyway, and they all just did a show in Kevin's hotel room. And Chad was in a different hotel room, and they just did a show that way. It was all the people that were going from Kevin's side, but they just tried to outsmart the trolls by just having.
What did they do? Just stand
show
around?
in the room, yeah.
They did a show.
Yeah, they did a show in Kevin's hotel room, and it was very funny.
That is
all
interesting.
Sitting around Kevin's laptop, you know. But Kevin
but not for fans. They just did a show.
No. There were fans in the room. There were like 20 to 30 fans in the room, according to Rocco. But it was pre-screened Kevin people. Like, so basically, Kevin's afraid of the public. He doesn't like being in public where people can get at him. I
gotta be honest. I've heard people criticize him for that. I applaud him for having 20 of these maniacs in his room.
I know, right?
I wouldn't do that. That's insane.
Yeah, it was,
I'm
the
nice
Teamster,
to people.
Teamster Tim's, all that crew of people. I don't know if Borgo was there, but Borgo dropped a $500 super chat.
You're losing me. I don't know what any of that means.
Okay, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, so they had the event. It went off in their rooms as planned. Chad kind of,
Yeah. Well, this is why I got a little, you may have noticed the last few weeks we haven't really talked Dabbleverse. I'm interested in Rob and John, but even this I was kind of reluctant to talk about because I was like, it's getting exhausting. A lot of this stuff.
Did people actually pay for that to go watch a show in Kevin's room?
Well, there was originally $20 tickets, but then Chad realized that he fucked that kind of up a little bit, and so I think it was just free. If you showed up, got a hotel room in Atlantic City, and Kevin liked you, you got in the room. Stevie Lou was watching.
That's kind of a cool. That's a somewhat unique type of thing. So good for them for figuring something out, I guess.
I think we should take the model and do VIP parties for Blind Mike across the country. Just tour around hotel room show. Yes,
I appreciate the idea.
Hope someone farted on his pillow.
Sure
nice.
A lot of farts in this pillow.
All right, let's finish this Rob clip.
That was the end of the Rob.
Oh, that was the okay, yeah. So my point is, it's not that much. It's a step or two quicker, but he's pretty much the same guy, you know.
Mm-hmm. It was just the sleeping during the call that was amazing to me.
So John goes on. I think we may have the clip, but he's like, Rob, he was a little tired. He was not on drugs. It's like, well, why are you being so bold as to say that? How the fuck do you know? But this was sad. It felt like John was contractually obligated to do one more episode. You know what I mean? Like the networks trotted him out. Like he did his big finale, and the network was like, you have to do a Christmas special now. Mm-hmm. And John was like, but we ended so perfectly. It would be a disgrace to the fans to do another episode.
Every musician has that one album left on the contract. They're like, fuck. And they have to go put it out. And that's this, yes.
Yeah.
No effort. And
Freebird, for God's sake. What more can the man do?
Also, like, no camera, not in the Dabbleverse. That's the rules. Them's the rules. He's made new rules now. If you're not on camera, you're not in the Dabbleverse. It's amazing.
It wasn't even really me. Could have been anybody. My camera wasn't on. Yeah, so let's hear this fucking idiot.
The first one's called Grand Return, as he makes his grand
Listen to how he sounds, but like listen to his voice. Remember the Duke? Mm-hmm. He'd go after you. Let me tell you something, shitwaya. Like he had energy. He had life. Listen to this guy. This was sad.
Well, unfortunately, Rob is not going to be around. And I just feel it is
overdose
important
rehab
to play these tapes, and I wouldn't have done it on my own.
It really is. That is important. It would be important to know, like, is Kate Meaney a liar? That is really important, John. It was important to expose that. John, by the way, is a guy who fancied himself a political commentator. Like he did a political show. He would talk about world events and government policy and things that are actually important. And now this, in John's world, is important. Think about that word.
Where 20-something girl named Kate Meaney. That's what he's talking about now?
I thought it would be really important to say Kate Meaney's a lying whore. I thought that was of the utmost importance.
You know, when Jordan came out retirement, just to call those ladies whores. And
then he went back to baseball.
Yes.
Wanting to do with it, just do it. But because
he's still programmed, mind you, he has nothing to do with the Dabbleverse. But he still has in his DNA, Carl is gay. Like, that's just embedded in him. If I ever say, I don't even have to say just do it. I just have to say the word do. and that is an opportunity for me to call Carl gay.
And now at the bottom of the screen it says, no super chats will be read under $4.99.
Good. I'm glad he put that disclaimer out.
Get some standards.
I think John still thinks it's like legally... Like he's under some legal obligation to read super chats.
I mean, I just thought it was appropriate to do. Hold on.
Listen to this guy. Remember, he had so much juice back in the day.
Yeah, those testosterone pills are not kicking in this morning.
Remember when he called Shuli's dad? That feels like eons ago.
Yep. Yeah.
He was a young, spry kid back then.
Maybe there was a reason he went away. Maybe he felt the testosterone just leaving his body moment to moment. He's like, I'm not gonna last much longer. Gotta get out of here.
I gotta hang him up. I ain't got my fastball no more.
It's windy. He's doing windy.
I'm not doing anything illegal. I recorded John.
All right, this is called Sharp as Ever. His return with Kate on the tapes.
Well, this is shitware. I hope you're not listening. If you are, turn it off, or at least make sure your kids aren't in the room. He destroys the shitware here. We were mocking his energy and everything. I've never seen him in such rare form. When he claps back with this insult here, everyone will look out. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. In America, this really is like a holiday. It's a celebration. I hate for something so vile to happen on such what's supposed to be a glorious day, really. But this is just nasty what John does here.
I'm not doing anything illegal. I recorded John. I didn't record regular civilians on the face of the planet.
Nobody would care about this phone call. Nobody.
I record extraterrestrial midgets who infiltrate our planet with their own.
No, write that down.
Write that down. John Doe, too, is very funny. First of all, extraterrestrial midgets. Is she talking about shitware?
Oh, Johnny, I'm so glad you came back, if nothing else, for that line. That is nice. I know you are, but what am I? That is the ultimate I'm rubber, you're glue. Well played, Johnny.
Maybe he is back teaching school. Back with the third graders again.
I guess the rebuttal would be, no. She meant you. What?
Yes.
Now what? Now expand on that, John. Do some. What is she talking about the shitway? Like, even that's not the John I grew up knowing and loving in the Dabbleverse. He used to have some fun. Sure, his insults were bad, but they had life behind them. Now he's like fucking Jake LaMotta at the end of. What is she talking about the shitway? I fought Sugar Ray so many times it gave me diabetes. He feels like an old dementia patient.
Just do I.
I think it was about John we were talking about, where I made the reference to Frankie Valli, where he seems like just an old man being trotted out to play the hits. He really is like, well, what is she talking about this shit way? And I don't even know that he's drunk. He's just lifeless. Like, I don't know what the problem is.
20 years of trolling and being 30 years of trolling and being a troll does take a effect on your spirit, I think, Mike.
I ain't got no more fight left in me.
He's punched out.
Now, does that seem like a woman that is not into the extraterrestrial midget?
Oh, he's showing a picture of her, right?
Well, no, he's not.
He thought he was?
Yes, there's a picture of her kissing him on the screen, but I don't think he put that together. That was the guy who made the call.
He's saying, you might be right, but he's saying, like, you really think Kate Meaney's not attracted to me? Look, we took a picture together. She's admitting on these calls she was fucking with you. Now, I'll grant you, here's what I will give John. I think Kate Meaney is a very damaged human being from the little I've observed. Seems like she has a lot. Seems like she has a lot of problems. Yeah, she's young, naive, doesn't even know who she is yet. I'm sure she made John feel loved. You know, like, I'm sure she made John feel really good about himself. And there might have been part of her that was like, who gives a fuck? I'll give this guy a smooch. Who cares? But, like, she was openly trolling him. And it doesn't get through that dense, yet somehow also wet skull of his that she was fucking with him. It was all to fuck with him. Now, do I think that's, like, wrong to do, to actually fuck with someone in real life? Yeah. Like, the people that celebrate, Kate Meaney actually fucked with him in real life. Like, I don't like that move, just as a fellow human being. But she did it. Like, that part is done. And John is still trying to convince us, nah. The Duke's still got it. Yet he's doing it in this limp-dicked way where he's like, you see, Kate Meaney actually loves me. You see, she's kissing me on the cheek right there. Like, he sounds way worse than Rob to me, somehow.
Yeah. That's how grandpas go out, just telling you stories of their past conquests, just into the wind as you put them on a nice.
This is like a veteran starting pitcher who had so many great years, and now, like he's already been moved to the bullpen. Like he's in middle relief now, but he's still giving up fucking bombs. Like it's sad to watch the waning days of John here. For his sake, he's like, I'm not going to be back, except for the one day that I am going to be back in March. But I'm not going to be back. For John's sake, I hope that's true, because this is rough. This is a sad display.
Next one is called The Point of This.
Well, yeah, I think ultimately I was I was curious what the point of this was, and I guess John is going to tell us.
I would like to say hello to Reddit and hello to YouTube and some hello.
So she knows she's being taped.
Yeah, in the whole conversation, she's like, "This is for the tape. Here you go. Here, I'm gonna do this for the tape."
Now, John will tell you he knows he's being taped also, but he's like calling his ex-wife a cunt and calling her new husband a loser and saying his kids have mental problems. So if John knows he's being taped, that's actually terrible. John should say, I had no idea I was being taped, but he'll act like I know I'm being taped. Kate Meaney is openly saying, like, hello, Reddit, I know I'm going to be on. Now, why is she entertaining this guy for an hour or however long she was on the phone? That is weird. Like, it's weird behavior. But we're not here to scrutinize Kate Meaney. We're here to talk about John.
Can you imagine, like, 10 years ago, Mike, if a bunch of 50, 60-year-old men gathered around you and wanted to know everything you said? It's got to be weird for this girl to look up and see a bunch of old dudes.
Well, and even a better example would be if I had a female friend. Because with a guy, it's different. It just is. Those guys wouldn't be trying to fuck me, you know?
Or imagine a bunch of ladies, 60-year-old ladies surrounding
right.
you.
Right, but no, I'm saying, like, if it was one of my, like, female friends, it would be like, well, it's so obvious what's happening here. This guy is trying to fuck her, and she's fucking with him. Like, in John's case, I don't know what the reason is. It's not like John has money or anything. I don't know Kate's motive. Because it's not even being involved in the Dabbleverse, because she doesn't even do a show. So I have no idea what her motive for all this is. But from John's perspective, it's very obvious what's happening.
Yes. I think her motive is she's serving the comedy gods. That's what she's young. She's like,
I guess, but to what end for her? She complains on these tapes. She's like, I didn't get paid for DabbleCon. It's like, well, did you ask to be? You know what I mean? Like, what I would have said if I wanted to be paid, I would have said, hey, Carl, I have these tapes of Stuttering John. He looks like a real asshole. Yeah.
Buy them.
Maybe I'd ask what you guys are making on DabbleCon and be like, hey, give me some percentage of that. Or, hey, to me, they're worth $1,000. If you got $1,000, I'll sell them to you. If not, I'll play them on my show. Whatever the case would be, I would work out some kind of a deal with them. Or because I do a show with Carl, maybe I'd just say, hey, have the tapes. I'm not interested in talking about them. But you can't give them the tapes and then go, why didn't they pay me for these?
Yeah, she has not taken business 101. She's
no.
A little slow.
Financial literacy is something that needs to be taught to our youth. God damn it.
Yes.
Hello to my friend, hello. I would like to say to my friend, hello. I say hello to all of the people that you are.
So essentially, what she's saying is the same thing that I would say to her. I always knew she was recording me. In fact, I even did that video that I revealed.
Yeah.
And
that's why I said my kid was a fucking nut job. That's why. That's why I used those gay slurs that I used. It was all to trick you, Kate.
Yes.
Don't.
An idiot.
But like, I thought Rob did a great job in the first hour, but then
he really did.
And
I killed it.
He wasn't on drugs. I just want to say this. Rob was not on drugs.
That sounds convincing.
By the way, if he wasn't, how the fuck would John know?
Exactly.
He didn't share. That's how I know. I always ask Rob for drugs, and he didn't have any.
Even like Casey seems perfectly fine to me right now. If someone said, Mike, you have to bet your life, legitimately, like we'll come and track you down. Is Casey on drugs or not? I would say, I don't have any fucking idea. It's not my. Why is he so steadfast in this?
I have no idea.
Got up very early, and he was drinking 11 alcohol content in his beer.
11.
But I do want to get to the.
So Rob was really going the extra mile. 11 content.
Yeah.
How do you drink as many beers as John does and not know the proper terminology?
He's entirely made of beer. He doesn't understand numbers.
It's
It's
like
100%
his main
for him.
hobby. He should know.
Right.
I'm not coming back, man, in many inches. And I told you, it's got to be.
Hey, guys, I just want to be clear. Blind Mike Project is done as of last week. I'm never doing it again. All right?
We're not here right now. No.
No, you're not watching the Blind Mike Project. I'm just popping in. I'm just having fun. And next week, I'm just going to pop in again. But I'm not doing the show anymore, all right? So get that out of your head. The show's canceled.
I'm still here. Hi.
Put me back on.
You're on there.
$2, and I don't really care. But the point of this whole thing is, this is a woman who I helped. I really did. Anybody who knows it, I mean, how many times did Pinky and everybody say, John is white knighting or whatever they would say for this girl.
John still thinks this is like a pod. So white knighting, for those of you that aren't aware, and basically I'm just talking to John, it means you're being a simp. Like you're defending a girl in order to hopefully fuck her. Like the idea is that you think by defending this girl, you're going to fuck. Like if people were criticizing ELECTRA in the chat right now, and I was like, hey, guys, she's actually really smart and funny. Obviously, I'm lying, but I'm trying to get some from ELECTRA, And that's what John was doing with Kate. You're a delight, ELECTRA. I'm just kidding, of course. I'm just giving the people an example.
I know.
But that's what John was trying to do. And John's like, I was white knighting. It was heroic of me. Like, John thinks it means he's picturing himself on a horse riding in to save the princess. Exactly. And he's like, yes, I was very heroic. That's correct.
I'm a courageous duke.
And I did. I really did, because I felt bad that she was getting beaten up. But what should you?
Well, John, how come I would ask, how come you haven't done that for like Rob Saul or Ray DeVito or how come you haven't gone and fought for them? That is a little odd. Hey, people make fun of me once in a while. People bash Casey Day in the comments.
Oh my God.
John, go defend him. Why aren't you going to everyone's homes to defend Casey Day?
He barely knows Rob Saul's alive when he's co-hosting with him. He's like, Rob's dead over there. Not
Rob legitimately might have been dead while he was doing it. And John's just like, Rob, come on. Pause the clip.
I can't white knight for everyone.
But he'll go to Patrick Melton's home to defend Kate Meaney's honor. John, why don't you defend Carl from all the people that call him gay? Oh, wait a minute. You do that.
Yes.
So stop acting like you're trying to shut down bullying of any kind. You were trying to fuck a young girl. Good for you.
Yeah. 25-year-old puss is magic, Mike. It makes you do the craziest things.
Who am I to stop anyone from that sort of joy?
What did she do? She just hate me. Which is so bizarre. And why? For the shit way. Or by the way, Shuli knew. And
Shuli knew what?
Oh my God, this thing is everywhere now. Like, it's even in our chats and stuff. Like, Rob Saul showed up in our chat just to type a $5 super chat. Shuli knew in our chat. Well, we were talking about
probably not
Harden.
the real Rob Saul, right?
No, it was.
I checked.
Oh, it was the real Rob. Yes.
Yeah.
So
really?
they're doing this. Yeah, they're doing this campaign where they're going around to shows and just writing that into chats, no matter what the show's
Shuli
about.
knew what? What are they talking about?
ESO. They're trying to say that Shuli knew about ESO.
Oh, I've never heard John say that before. Wait, John thinks Shuli knew about ESO? Oh my God! That changes everything.
Yeah. These fucking guys.
that's her reason.
Thanks for the $5.
She just decided she should tape me. And so now let's really get into the meat of this.
All right. Hero John is up.
By the way, the meat of this, it couldn't have been more bone. There was no meat to this. The meat at best would have been Kate Meaney calling John an extraterrestrial midget and saying John lied about fucking her. Like, that, I guess, was the meat. None of this made John or Kate look good, in my opinion.
Think about how desperate John is to get anything that he has this guy call and tell her. She knows she's being recorded, and John's like, yeah, it's good, it's gold. She knows she's being recorded. There's nothing she's going to stay here that's going to impact her at all. And John's like, got it. Let's play it. I'm back. It's a desperation move, man.
And we're playing the best. And by the best, I mean, like, I struggled to find clips worth pulling of this. This is what John described as, like, hey, I don't want to be here, but I had to be. I really had no choice, you know? It would be like if like Brendan Schaub was hosting the Oscars. Like, I'm coming out of retirement. It's like, I guess I have to talk about this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that, in John's mind, that's what these tapes were, and there was nothing.
Hero John is the next one.
Well, he is a hero, and John's just doing his civic duty. Remember, he doesn't want to be here. He's just giving back to the community.
Yep. Hero of the stupid, Electra. That's what they used to call Munster.
I'm trying to say.
Perhaps at one point in time I cared about him because I felt bad for him, and I realized what a piece of shit he is.
Now, isn't this funny that she says that I'm a piece of shit? Yeah, what did I do? Did I not go to Fatty Patty's house and ask him to stop fucking with her and her mother? Did I not?
Imagine someone arguing whether or not you're a piece of shit. And I can imagine it because I've done it early, like when I started on Kirk's show. It's really the first time I had people like strangers commenting on me. So, like, when that happens, no matter how many people are doing it, it's like jarring a little bit. You're like, oh, no, wait, maybe I can convince you I'm a good guy. That wears off after a little while. You realize you're not going to convince these people. John has been in the business for 40 years. Essentially, right? Like, he started in the late 80s with Stern.
Yep.
So almost, we're coming up on 40 years John has been dealing with this stuff. And add on top of that, John was brought into Stern to be a punching bag. And he was good at it. Like, that was kind of his whole thing. He actually was very good at being the guy people beat up on. And yet here we are 30 some odd years later where John's like, oh, really, I'm stupid. I'm a loser. Let me convince you otherwise. It's like, when is that going to die, John? When are you going to stop needing our approval? Like, we're here to make fun of you. Maybe we're the idiots. Maybe other shows can look at us and be like, look at these fucking assholes obsessing over this has-been loser drunk. Like, why are they giving him the time of day? You could do that, John. But instead you try to convince us that you're like some good guy.
Your answer, Mike, is it will never end. He will be at his
That's
casket.
clear at this point, yeah. Yeah, there's like a 5-year window you have to be able to adjust to it. And I think John's a little past that. But what's weird about John is he was good at it, like I said. I don't know how good he was, but like, he dealt with callers every day, right? I'm sure there were people that probably didn't get on the air that were like, hey, you stuttering fuck, like, just called to criticize John. And he had to deal with that for 15 years on Stern. It's amazing he hasn't toughened his skin at all.
You make such a great point, because when you come into these worlds, you do have, and then you kind of get public or whatever. Like, I'm a very small channel, and your channel is much bigger than mine. So people are discovering me and shitting on me daily. And you have a choice, right, over time to, just accept that and like move on, try to do your same thing, or just like live in the pool. And he has never gotten out of the pool to just do a
I remember I would respond to tweets and be like, oh, no, you misunderstood me.
Yes.
Thinking that would work. Yeah. And then you have to realize, like, you're not going to convince that they have an opinion of you, John. Yeah. This certainly isn't going to do anything. What's worse is John's a horrible defense of himself. Like, John's a horrible self-attorney because he digs deeper and makes it worse, and he's inarticulate and stupid. So it never helps.
Approach that fat hunchback in Atlantic City and tell him to shut the fuck up about her and her mother, but I'm a piece of shit. What has Shitway done for her?
Why is
He
that?
hasn't paid her any.
It's whataboutism. It's when you argue about Trump and someone says, "Well, what about Biden?" It's like, yeah, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Just and that is a more direct comparison because they both led our nation. Whereas John, just out of nowhere, like, hey, Kate Meaney's mother hates John. Well, what has the shitware done for them?
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with this, John.
It really is like the Hatfields and the McCoys for John, him and Shuli. Yeah. He thinks it's like this.
Right, yeah, if you hate me, you must love Shuli. And I have to convince you not to like Shuli. Maybe they don't think Shuli's that great a guy either. Like, but that has nothing to do with you, John. If they hate Shuli, it doesn't make you a better man all of a sudden.
It's because John's a landlord to Shuli, because he rents so much space in his own goddamn mind to him. It would be annoying to be that obsessed with someone. So it must eat at him constantly and never, ever give it up.
John did say something. It was a throwaway line, but he goes, and tell your father to stop texting me. I guess Shuli has been feeding his... Remember John called his dad on New Year's Eve?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess Shuli has been telling his dad texts to send John.
Fucking hilarious.
So now John's getting a text from this 87-year-old man.
Let me tell you about my son, Shuli. He is a shitware from birth.
Anything for any of these tapes. But she somehow wants his attention, which is sad.
All right. True love is on the horizon here.
Good.
Stuttering John. Yeah.
Good.
By the way, this is one thing that I meant to say, and I wanted to say on Rob's show. If you really heard the tapes that Kate had with me, if you really were there, how many times she told me how much she loved me it's every phone call. I love you. I love you. All the fucking time.
I'm sure Dane Cook's brother said a lot of shit like that too, you know? I'm sure Bernie Madoff really reassured people that he was doing what's best with their money. Like, people who are scamming you will say things that aren't true,
Yes.
John.
Mm-hmm.
The Melendez brothers told their parents they loved them all the time. All the
Menendez.
time.
You have Melendez on the brain.
Yes, I do.
This girl's a sociopath. A spoiled sociopath.
I can't believe the girl that was scamming me was also lying to me.
Mm-hmm. Sex claims is the next and final one.
This is the saddest one, where it's like John lives in high school, where he's like, I fingered Kate the other day, and he tells his boys, and then his boys start telling other people, and that gets back to Kate. And all of a sudden, Kate's like, "No, I didn't, you fucking loser." And John's like, "You wanted to, but you're actually gross. I never even liked you." It's the saddest high school bullshit that this 60-year-old man is living in.
That's third grade shit. He punches the girl he likes.
Actually, she has cooties.
Yes. I gave them to her.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody just, like, it's like, she's such a slut. She's talking to John again.
Oh, that's why they think you're a slut, Kate? Because you're talking to me?
And then he tweets out, I spent the night at a lady's apartment. Yeah, he spent the night in my apartment because, like...
Yeah, but hold on, lady. First of all, if I tweet out...
John, you have the ability to pause it.
We should keep talking over me.
Oh, hey, Kate, quiet down, please. I'm trying to get a word in edgewise.
I didn't come back to get talked over.
That I spent the night at a lady's apartment. I'm not saying who it is. It could be anybody.
John,
you dumb fuck.
Dumb fuck.
But you get angry at that. Nobody knows it's you. But you're so stupid. You need something to hate me.
Okay, really John, let's see if people can decode this message. I was on a podcast yesterday, and we were talking about other podcasts, and the host was super flamboyant, if you know what I mean. Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. And before the show, he was talking about throating cocks. But really, he just do it. You know what I mean? Like, he's that kind of a guy.
Okay.
It's so, who could I be talking about? No one can figure that out. John, you did it. You did it in a way where this is what John did. I went out with Kate Meaney last night. and we had a lovely time. And then I went back to a certain woman's apartment, whose name I won't say, and we shagged. Boy, what an encrypted message. I can't figure out what you're saying, John. I never said a name.
You love me. And that's the whole issue. You don't hate me. You know it. I know it. But here, let's keep going.
Club and follow
Sounds
me
so
home.
defeated.
Like, he slept outside. He didn't sleep in my bed.
Lie. I slept in a bed.
Nice.
Again, as a 60-year-old man, why is that a brag? I slept in her bed and didn't fuck her. Ooh. Did you get to smell her hair, John?
I was a mere 1 foot away from young pussy. That counts as something.
I didn't fuck her, but
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.